music. You start to become an artist. Visualize things. I think of, when I play a bossa nova, I think of, a sandy beach on a beautiful day, and everything's perfect. That just makes the groove come together for me. Let's play this thing. Now, we haven't talked about our connective tissue in a while, but our eighth notes are back over here. Let's take a look at them. We'll play this on the hi-hat first. And I'm going to play the left-hand rhythm with it, the signature bossa nova left-hand rhythm. Let's see what it sounds like. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Now I'll add the bass drum. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 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 4, and 1, and 2, and 1. Another great place to play this is the ride cymbal. And we're going to play that way now, and we're going to put 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. So now we'll have a 4-way pattern, and this really kind of opens up a little bit. We use the ride cymbal with its legato, long sound. It really helps make the groove breathe. Let's see what happens. 2, 3, 4, and see how lightly I'm playing? Touch. Nice. Touch. Touch. Different than the rock stuff we've done when you play on the ride cymbal. Well, we wouldn't play that way for rock either, but we play stronger for rock. We get more of a sound happening. We're using bells, more aggressive. This is a bossa nova. It's nice. We want to make nice. So we just play lightly, and we get that touch. And this next musical example is going to show you what I mean exactly. I'm really looking forward to playing this one because it just is so beautiful. And you can use all those different textures of cymbals and sounds. I offer this up to you to play after I'm done. Let's give it a shot. Continuing along our Brazilian path, we have now hit the classic samba. This groove, boy, I'll tell you, it's impossible to overstate what it means to Brazilian musicians. And it's so much fun to play. And it's so open to interpretation. You gotta love this groove. The one I'm gonna show you is the one that was shown to me when I studied with a Brazilian master of drumming. And I'll tell you, when he showed this to me, it opened my eyes. Like a lot of drummers, I used to think a fast bossa nova was a samba, which is so not right. It's a different thing. And we're going to talk about that thing right now. The first thing I want to talk about is the hi-hat. Let's add a little artistry to these connective tissue eighth notes that we keep talking about. We're going to give a lilt. We're going to push 2 and 4. There's an accent written over them, but you know what? It's more of a color change than an accent. And I want you to look at it and see what you think. It'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and tip shank, tip shank, tip shank, tip shank. Tip shank, tip shank. Not an accent. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... That's a different color. That's an accent. It's not an accent. Okay, now we have the wonderful samba left-hand rhythm that, by the way, is just to get us started. That can move around a lot. The left hand in Brazilian drumming reminds me a lot of jazz musicians' left hand. Man, that thing can go all over the place and play all sorts of wonderful different things. So don't get locked into this one rhythm, though this one rhythm is what I call a root rhythm. It really works, and lots of different offshoots can come from this rhythm. So let's get this one down. I'm going to play the left-hand rhythm against the hi-hat. 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Now the bass drum, and it has the classic samba bass drum. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. But I'm going to lean on the 2 side a little bit more, which would be 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3. A little bit of a heavier 2 side. In traditional Brazilian drumming, there would be a guy playing a surdo, and his job all night long would be to be on 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's his gig all night long. And we're going to try to make our bass drum have that sound. Let's see what it sounds like all together. And when you get this locked in, boy, I'll tell you, there's nothing like it. Remember when we talked about the shuffle? When you play the shuffle, there's nothing like the shuffle. Well, there is nothing like a samba when you really get it cooking. Let's see what happens when we get it happening. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of fun to play. It's absolutely undeniably awesome to play that groove. Now, you're going to see even more of what I mean in the next 2 examples. One's kind of slow, and one is definitely not kind of slow. The one that's kind of not slow, the right hand might prove to be an issue. This is a chops issue or strength issue. And if you can't get those eighth notes out at that tempo, don't freak out, okay? Take it easy, build up your speed and endurance. Keep positive, keep moving forward, and you will get it someday. Just keep practicing, okay? Samba, 2 different tempos. Here we go. Another version of a samba. This is for faster environments. We've also moved the time signature to 4/4 instead of the cut time that we have been in the previous example. A lot of times when sambas get fast, writers will write them in either 4/4 or even more traditionally 2/4. You'll find it just a different way of looking at them on a piece of paper, and I just wanted to show you both ways of being able to see what a samba look like in 4/4 and in cut time. Now at a fast tempo, we're going to be in 4/4. So our connective tissue will be based on 16th notes, and we're going to take out that second one, and we're going to make it an 1/8 and 2/16. So it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. We have upbeat 1/8 notes on the hi-hat and the bass drum playing its bass drum part, the classic samba bass drum part. Let's see what happens when we put the feet in with the ride. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and now the left hand part. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4 and 1 and 2 E 3 E 4 and 1 and 2 E 3 E 4 and 1 and 2 E 3 E 4 and 1 and 2 E. As you can see, I'm trying to still push the 2 side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, with a little bit of weight in the bass drum, just to give it that authentic on the 2 side, just a little bit, you know. Now this can get pretty fast. Now also you can play this like with a rim shot, kind of like a muted rim shot. A lot of my Brazilian friends play their snare drum with the finger over the top, and they get a nice little rim shot sound. It's really kind of cool how they do that. And you can get it, it'll sound like this at a faster tempo with the snare drum. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how it stays light and buoyant? If you try to play a groove like this heavy, I mean, forget it, you know? It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. You've got to stay light and tight and moving it forward. That's the whole key to playing quickly. Don't get heavy. Don't get, Stay relaxed, breathe, and let the music do the speaking for you. Now, we're going to play this one in a pretty up-tempo and see what it sounds like and get this pattern moving. And then watch me play it, then join in, play with me. Keep joining in. Don't just watch. If you're sitting at your TV watching me with your remote sitting there like a lump, don't do that. Get on your drums. Break a sweat. Have some fun. Take some chances. All that good stuff. Let's see what this one sounds like with music. Another kind of samba, a baião samba. This has a different bass drum part, and it has a different flavor. Whereas the sambas we've been playing have been ba-a-doom, a one, a two, a one, a two. This one has that kind of a push. 1, 1, 1, 1, You're kind of pushing it. Actually, that rhythm has been around a very long time. It used to be called Charleston. But now when we put it in this kind of context, it's called a baião samba. Amazing how things never really are new. They keep morphing from the past. Let's see what this sounds like. I'm going to play the bass drum part and the ride cymbal so you have a reference. Ride cymbal is going to do our friend, just like the last one, the 1/8 and 2/16. Let's get that going first. 1, 2, ready, and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. Now let's put that bass drum in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. 1, a 2, 3, a 4. 1, a 2, 3, a 4. 1, a 2. Now the hi-hat on the upbeats. 1, 2, 1, a 2, and 3, a 4, and a 1, a 2, 3, 4. Now the left hand is going to be playing kind of like filler ghost notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Boy, I'll tell you, that feels great to play. You don't want to stop. I probably played it too long, and I apologize. But boy, I'll tell you, that's a lot of fun. When you get into a groove, boy, that just feels so good. So now you get that happening. You're loose. You're happy. Things are good. The music's moving forward, and it will sound something like this. The next two musical examples that we're going to use at two different tempos, and you can see what I mean. And the second one, I'm sure I'm going to take some liberties with this samba, as I'm supposed to do. Because let's face it, they'd hire a drum machine if they wanted a pattern just played static all night long. Let's take some musical chances and see what happens. Here we go. .37 is the last groove from Brazil. It's called the Batucada. And this is a great groove. This is the groove that everybody hears during Carnival. It's this street samba school thing. It's just unbelievable. It's explosive in its energy. And it leaves a lot of room for improvisation. If you have your rudimental thing together, you can start to explore using different kind of rudiments, rolls and flams and stuff in this kind of a groove, because it's so snare drum based and you can really get some amazing textures happening. Let's see what happens when I just play this thing as it is. And again, I'm going to use my hi-hat doing the closed, open, splash kind of technique. The tight, open, tight, open. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our surdo again, playing the 2 and the 4 over on the tom. You can even use different tones, And I like to reverse the hi-hat sometimes too, and I play, instead of closed, open, I play open, closed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I have the long sound on 2 and 4 on my floor tom, and I can use the short sound to go with that and the long sound against it. Let's see what that sounds like. You can see what I mean. It sounds so much better in music than it does in words. 1, 2, 3, 4. That groove will get you started on your way to playing batucadas. That is just like all the other Brazil grooves. There are lots of different ways to play it, and all sorts of great music to listen to and absorb and try to copy. Let's see what this sits like at 2 different tempos with music. Let's give it a shot. Time to take a trip down to the Dominican Republic and play the groove that the Dominican Republic can call its own, the merengue. And this is a furious, fast dance. And I'll tell you, when I went to the Dominican Republic, watching people do the merengue, that'll get you inspired to learn how to play it. It was pretty amazing. You know, it was incredible to watch the energy. It's like this frenzy. It's just incredible. So I'm going to show you this groove. And again, we're going to use our cross stick, palm on the snare. We're trying to emulate other percussion instruments. We can do that by different textures, by using different pressures on the snare. Turn your snares off, you know. Okay, let's take a look at this groove. I'll just play the hand part, and not too fast, because the example is going to be pretty fast, and merengues live at a pretty fast tempo. Let's see what this sounds like not too fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now with the feet. Feet help chug this thing along. There's an undeniable forward, let's go get 'em kind of thing about a merengue. So definitely have that kind of spirit when you're playing it. But not too fast right now. But moving forward, we're chugging along. We're chugging. 1, 2, 3, Now, a little bit more up to speed. It's going to be lighter. It's still going to have that undeniable forward motion. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is in all its glory. Now it's up to you to play it. Let's take a musical example and see what it sounds like with real instruments. Let's go. As you've probably noticed at this DVD, I've been using some different Vic Firth implements, and this is the Ruda. And there are a bunch of different weights and models. And these are really cool to use on merengues and other kinds of these grooves too, as you've been watching. Let me show you what this sounds like with this Ruda. This is kind of cool. It gives a different texture to the snare drum. It kind of spreads it out a little bit. It gives a different flavor than a stick. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are very cool, and I recommend you check them out.